This is a recording of 3.4a in the pre-algebra textbook. The name of this section is called Division with Fractions. And the first thing that we're going to look at is the word reciprocal. Hopefully you can read my writing here. And as far as a reciprocal is concerned, if you look at 3.4, it should have a definition in there, and the definition is the two numbers whose product is 1 are said to be reciprocals. So let's put that in better English. If we take a number like 4 over 7, and it says the two numbers whose product is 1, so we're going to multiply in order to get a product, and it says what we're going to do is we're going to look for a number so that we can multiply it times 4 over 7, and when we get our answer, we get 1. And the number that we multiply will always be the reciprocal. Multiply those, 28 over 28, and any number over itself is 1. So notice what we have there. Those are reciprocals of each other. They're fractions. When you flip them upside down, you have a reciprocal. So if I have 7/4, the reciprocal is 4/7. If I have 1/4, the reciprocal is 4 over 1. If I have the number, let's erase some of this stuff. If I have the number 3, that is actually 3 over 1, so the reciprocal is 1 over 3. Okay? So that's all a reciprocal is. And let's continue on as far as what we're talking about when we're dividing fractions, because that's what this section is for the most part about, how to divide fractions. And one of the key things about dividing fractions is there's actually no such thing as dividing fractions. Maybe that's not the mathematical way of putting that, but when you get something like that, you are not taking 1/2 divided by 1/4. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to change it into a multiplication problem. Multiplication is so much easier and more fun to do than division, so let's change it into a multiplication. In order to change it into a multiplication, we take the second fraction and we take the reciprocal. So 1/4, 1 over 4. What would be the reciprocal of 1 over 4? It would be 4 over 1. You flip it upside down. So what we call this here is if you have a division of a fraction, like we do right here, you multiply times the reciprocal of that second fraction. So when we multiply now, multiplication is a lot easier. We take 1 times 4 and 2 times 1, and we get 4 over 2, or 2 for an answer. So 1/2 divided by 1/4 is going to be 2. So let's practice a few of these. Let's get that board erased. We have 3/8, and we are dividing that by 9 over 4. Okay, so if you remember, we take our 3/8 and we write it just as is. Never change the first term there. And instead of divide, we're going to multiply. And we're going to multiply it by, remember, the reciprocal, 4 over 9. Okay, so when we're in that position, we multiply the top numbers. And we multiply the bottom numbers. And we get 12 over 72. Okay, so 12 over 72 does reduce. And it reduces to, actually we could write this as 2 times 2 times 3, break it into its prime factors like we did earlier in an earlier section. In 72 we're going to break into its prime factors. Okay, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is 72, and then we can start getting rid of some stuff. And that leaves me with, and this is important, we're left with nothing on top. It all canceled, but we can't leave our answer with nothing on the top or the bottom of a fraction. So when there's nothing left, you put a 1 there. Okay, and on the bottom, we're going to multiply 2 times 3 and get 6. So our answer is 1 over 6. Okay, and there's also another way. Some of you may remember from earlier math classes. We can actually, let me get rid of some of this stuff here so you can see just what I'm talking about here. You can actually cancel, because of this multiplication sign, we can actually cancel some things. So we can look at the 4 and the 8, and you can say, all right, 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 8 two times, 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 9 three times. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 3 is 6, and you're done. So there's no mistakes as far as putting the prime factors there and canceling and all of that. So if you feel comfortable doing it this way, go ahead and do that. If you don't, go ahead and do it the way I did earlier. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's try a couple more. 2 divided by negative 1/3. Now these are examples in the book, so if you want to look at those, you can. 2 divided by negative 1/3. Again, we don't care about the negative sign. We don't care about the 2. All we want to do is see that there's a division sign. And let's write 2 as a fraction. Any whole number that is not a fraction can be written as a fraction by putting a 1 under it. We're going to make a multiplication sign. And we're going to take then our negative 1/3 and flip it upside down. We did not change the negative. We did not change the negative to a positive. All we did is flip the 1/3 upside down. Okay, so now we have 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. A positive times a negative always gives you a negative. 1 times 1 is 1. And whenever 1 is in the denominator, we can just get rid of it and have negative 6 for our answer. Okay, let's try one more, and you can, we'll call it good as far as this particular session. There is a 3.4b that you can watch if you want to try some more practice. So 4 over 27, and we're going to divide it this time by 16 over 9. Okay, so remember, again, the first thing you do is invert, or find the reciprocal, and multiply. Don't forget to do that. That's always the first thing you do. All right, at this point, if you want to, I was showing you earlier how to do this, you can say 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 16 4 times. We look at our 9 and our 24 and see that 3 goes into both of those. 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 24 8 times. And now I can multiply and get 3 over 32. Okay? And at that point, we're done. Notice, if you're looking at the book, this problem is not exactly like the one in the book, so don't think you've got it wrong if you get 3 over 32 and the book says something else, because it's a little bit different there. Alright, so if you don't like that way, and you like the prime factoring part where I showed you earlier how to do it, let's get some green ink over there, and let's just multiply 4 times 9. We get 36. And this is where you run into a little bit of problem. Now you've got to multiply 24 times 16. So, I can't do that in my head. Let me whip out the calculator. 384. Alright, that doesn't look so fun as far as breaking this down into prime factors. I mean, 36 isn't too bad, because I can go 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 3 is 36. The 384, though, is going to be a real pain in the neck to break down into its prime factors. So, you know, you've done this before, where you take 384 and you break it down into your tree. And anyway, I will just turn the recording off for a minute, figure out what the prime factors, write them down for you real quick. Okay, so down here is my prime factoring of 384. Okay, so let's just start canceling off things. So I've got a 2 there and a 2 there, 2 there, a 2 there, 3 there, and a 3 there. Since I can't cancel anything else, I write what's on top, and in this case it's just a 3. And on the bottom I have a 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. And I'm done. Okay, so notice that the first way I did it, it allowed us real quickly and easily, let me erase some of the stuff that might confuse you a little bit. Real quickly and easily we took the numbers that both 4 went into 4 and 16. So 4 went into 4 once, 16, 4 goes into it 4 times. And 9, 3 goes into 9 3 times. And 3 goes into 24 8 times. So that's a lot less messy, a lot less prone to making mistakes. But sometimes it can be a little tricky to look and see which numbers go into which. Okay, so actually what we're doing here is just reducing 4 over 24 into 1 over 8, and 9 over 16 into 3 over 4. Okay, so we're just putting those all together, multiplying numerators, multiplying denominators, and getting our 3 over 32. So anyway, next video I'll go over a few more examples. So that's it for this one.